Now moving on to the dreaded first poop. Girl, didn't nobody tell me. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today's video is not going to be a makeup routine and it's not going to be a hair video. Today I'm actually going to be talking about all things postpartum related. So if you're interested in this video, then keep on watching. Okay, so just a little backstory about myself. I do have a 7-month-old daughter. Her name is Brielle and she is the light of our lives. She is learning how to crawl right now, so she is in everything, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. So I want to talk about postpartum because, of course, being pregnant, especially as a first-time mom, there are a lot of questions, a lot of what ifs, a lot of oh my gosh, what is it going to be like? And so I think more people focus on pregnancy and giving birth, and not enough people talk about what to expect in the postpartum period, which is actually considered the 4th trimester because of the adjustments that you have to make, all the things your body is going through, adjusting to being a new mom, the effect that it has on your marriage, all of that. Nobody really talks about it. So I wanted to come on here and do a video for all of you expecting moms, whether the first time or a second time around, whatever the case may be. I hope you guys enjoy this video. So if you see me looking down, it's because I have my notebook right here, and I went through and wrote. My husband was like, "What are you writing?" And I was like, "I'm doing homework and I'm taking notes." So I'm gonna show you guys because I really do actually like taking notes. That is first page, and yeah. So hopefully this video won't be too long. Now, I want to make sure that I say I am not a medical professional by any means. I know that every woman's experience is going to be different and every woman's body is different. So your experience, of course, will be different from mine. However, I wanted to shed light on it because there can be a lot of people who say a lot of negative things. And one thing that was really important to me throughout my whole pregnancy, birthing, and postpartum was that I made sure that I was surrounded by positivity and encouragement. I only wanted to make sure I was hearing good things, and I was making sure to say affirmations to myself. I was making sure to pray God's word over me, and just to be careful of who I was surrounding myself with and the kinds of words I was surrounding myself with, because that can have a major impact on your birthing experience and your experience as a mother as a whole. So yeah, just wanted to put that disclaimer out there. Now, the first thing I have written down is that you will bleed. Now, that probably seems like a no-brainer and obvious, but sometimes some women don't know that you bleed, at least not as much as you do. So the way the bleeding works is, regardless if you've had a C-section or not, you're going to bleed because your uterus has to contract back down to its regular size, which means bleeding. Just like if you were on your regular period, the reason why you bleed is because your uterus is contracting. So the heaviest bleeding lasts for about the first week to a week and a half, and some women actually bleed for the full 6 weeks. So if you don't know, you have to have a follow-up appointment with your doctor at 6 weeks to check on everything down there. They pretty much check on if you had stitches, just to look and see, make sure there's no swelling or anything abnormal. So in those 6 weeks, some women bleed that whole time, or some women like myself only bleed for 2 to 3 weeks, which I was thankful for because I was over the bleeding the first 3 days. And the bleeding goes from red to pink to brown, just like your cycle would. Also, you will have blood clots. That is okay, but if your blood clots are super large, then you want to go ahead and give your doctor a call and let them know what's going on, because that means that there may be some other issue. Now, getting into how to take care of yourself while you're bleeding. Do not use a tampon. Don't use a tampon, because don't use a tampon. Okay, first of all, everything that happened down there, you pushed out a baby. I'm not really sure you want to be sticking or shoving anything up there anytime soon. That doesn't just go for the tampons. Okay. So use pads. Now, at the hospital, they would give you these lovely mesh panties. Now, I actually saw somebody mention that they use Always Discreet. I did not use those because I honestly didn't know anything about them. So I used the mesh panties. Not really any complaints other than they didn't really hold the pad in place. You know how you like, you want to make sure your pad is secure because you're already going to be, wondering like, oh my gosh, is it moving, is it sliding? So yeah, the mesh panties didn't really hold the pad in place that good, but they did what they were supposed to do. So the hospital gives you these pads that literally go from back to front, and they're really long, and they're nice and thick because it's gonna be some heavy bleeding, and that's normal. Now, after you actually push and baby is out, they will come in and push on your belly to help encourage some of that bleeding and encourage your uterus to let me not say push, they're massaging, because they're massaging your uterus actually. And so some of the bleeding happens there, and then it just continues until everything is back in place. Now I do have some pads, some of the ones that I use. So what I used when I first got home, maybe like the first couple of days, I used this pad right here. This is Always, and as you see, it has wings right here and wings in the back. And this pad was actually really comfortable. I thought these were more comfortable than the hospital pads, because the hospital pads, like I said, they're thick and they kind of seem bulky, and like I mentioned, you're going to be sore down there, so you don't want a whole lot of nothing down there at all. So these were actually really comfortable for me. Then when the bleeding slowed down some, I switched to, these are also Always, I switched to this pad, which is not as long, and I gotta have something that had wings because I needed to make sure it was secure. So here's the size difference. Okay, so that is the pads. I came prepared for you guys. Okay, so make sure you also have some granny panties, whatever underwear that you use when you're on your regular cycle. Those are going to be good because you don't want to try to be cute and wear clothes that are too tight. You don't want to wear clothes that are too tight. You want to make sure you're comfortable, and the granny panties are going to be so comfortable, trust me. Now, I said the blood clot, so moving on, the next thing I wrote down was to drink water. Drink plenty of water, and take my advice here, because I did not drink water as I should have, especially not in those first couple days, and I suffered for it. I had a headache. It felt like nonstop, and I was also breastfeeding, so yeah. Drink your water. Now, if you choose to breastfeed, going into the breastfeeding topic, if you choose to breastfeed, your milk supply will come in about 2 to 3 days after you give birth, right? And baby, when I tell you the milk comes in, it comes in, and you're going to wake up that morning and your breasts are going to be huge. They're going to be swollen. They're going to be sore and tender. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and get on your pump and get that milk out. You want to also make sure, what helped me as well is taking a warm shower. And you can either take a warm shower, or you can take a cloth and you can run it under some warm water. Run it under some warm water and apply it to your boob and massage at the same time. And what that's going to do is it's going to help to open up those milk ducts, and the milk is going to start to come out. Okay, so after you either do the warm cloth or you take the hot shower and you are sitting down and you're pumping, don't forget your water and your snack. You're going to notice that your breast milk is going to be gold, and that's why they call it liquid gold. And it's like that because the breast milk that you're producing right after you give birth is loaded with nutrients, and so over time the color will change and it'll be like white like regular milk. And make sure you also continue to take your prenatal vitamins, because those vitamins are providing your body with nutrients, which in turn means your baby is getting those extra nutrients as well. Now, when it comes to breastfeeding, when they put the baby on your boob in the hospital, you're gonna feel some contractions, and that's gonna happen for about 1 to 2 weeks. It really just depends. So that's going to continue to happen, but the cramps and the contractions and or cramps, whichever you want to call it, they are tolerable. It's not painful to the point where you it's not that bad. Now, I have heard from moms who have more than one child that the pains are more intense, you know, with the more children that you have. I don't know that yet because I just have one child right now. So I'm just speaking off my experience of having one child, and they're not to the point where you'll be in tears every time you have to breastfeed. Okay, it's very tolerable. Okay, now moving on to the dreaded first poop. Girl, didn't nobody tell me that it was not going to be that bad. Okay, so your first poop is not as horrible as everybody is telling you. Listen to me and hear me clearly. There are going to be people who tell you that that first poop is horrible. You're going to cry. It's going to be so bad. It's not that bad. I'm going to tell you why. After birth, your bowels are sluggish because of the stretched muscles, the pushing, the sore perineum, which is the area that's between your, and I'm actually put a picture right here so you can see, it's the area between your anus and your vagina or your vulva. Okay, that's the area that can possibly tear when you're having a baby. And if you're a first time mom, more than likely you will tear, but that's okay. I was terrified of tearing because I didn't know what that looked like or what that meant for me, but it was not that bad, and I'll get into that in a minute. So those are all the reasons why that first poop is so dreaded and why that first poop takes a while. It takes about, it takes about 2 to 4 days. So how to prepare for your bowel movement is drink water. Also, make sure you drink plum juice and apple juice. Do an equal mix of plum juice and apple juice. I got this from a nurse that discharged me. She recommended this. So, of course, as soon as we were out the hospital on the way home, I was like, babe, we have to stop and get apple juice and plum juice. And no lie, I did have a bowel movement maybe on like the 3rd day. I actually went immediately after I had Brielle, but it wasn't anything like major. But when I did, I was like, oh my gosh, look, I just pooped. And the nurse was like, really, you did? I was like, yeah. So now when I got home, and I didn't poop again until the 3 days later, which is normal, it's fine. And also in the hospital, they're going to give you stool softeners. Don't stop taking those stool softeners until you have that first poop, because that's really going to help prepare your body for the bowel movement. I'm not sure what the apple and plum juice does, but it just works. I'm telling you, it works. I was like, why plum juice and not prune juice? It works. And it was actually good. So you don't have to torture yourself in order to produce a bowel movement. Also, you want to eat foods that are high in fiber, like pears, carrots, collard greens, spinach, beans, etc. All those. I said the stool softeners. Let me show you. These are the stool softeners I took. They were Docalax. I took these right here. And that also helped with the bowel movement in the next couple of days that I had. When you are getting ready to poop, do not sit there and overthink it. Don't strain. Just sit there, breathe, and relax. Just relax your body. You're not going to rip your stitches. You're not going to tear from your rooty to your tootie. It is fine. Want to know why? Because your body was literally created to do this. Your body knows exactly what to do because that is how God created us as women. It is okay. Hear me. It is okay. Okay? Moving on. Also, let me go back. Before you are discharged, make sure you ask all of the questions that you have. I was asking every question in the book. I even made sure to ask about purchasing stool softeners over the counter, because you want to make sure if you're breastfeeding, you're really mindful and cautious about what you're taking, because some of the things that you take medication wise can pass through to your breast milk, which in turn, baby girl's awake, which in turn goes to baby, and some of that stuff is not good for baby at all. Now, moving forward, the 4th trimester, which is the first 3 months after you have given birth, is probably going to be the toughest part. Okay, so you've carried your baby for 9 months. Did you know you actually carry your baby for 10 months and not 9 months? Comment down below and let me know if you guys knew that. I was mind blown when I found that out. Okay. Now, the fourth trimester is probably the roughest part. Through pregnancy, giving birth, all that, the fourth trimester is hard because your body is trying to get back to normal. You have all these hormones out of whack. You have this new baby you have to care for. If you're breastfeeding, that's just another thing in its own, because breastfeeding can be strenuous. It can be hard on your body, and then it's hard on you mentally because you're wondering, oh my gosh, am I producing enough? Is baby getting enough? How do I make more? Oh my gosh, I have to pump out. It can be a lot. So some of my advice for the fourth trimester and what they call the baby blues: make sure you watch out for postpartum depression, because that can be a big one. You don't want to get to the point where you are depressed because you aren't talking to anybody or expressing your feelings. So this is actually further down, but I'm gonna make this number one. Make sure you have somebody to talk to. So like I was saying, I had to get baby girl and take her in there with her daddy. Like I was saying, while you are in that 3-month stretch, you need to make sure you have somebody to talk to, because that is very important to express your feelings, express your thoughts, because you don't want to just keep it all bottled up inside. Now, there will be times where you are doubting yourself. You will have moments where you cry and break down, but make sure you express those feelings as well. It's okay to cry. It's okay to have those feelings, but you need to make sure you're talking it out and walking through that with somebody else as well. Now, as I just mentioned, you will literally question yourself about everything. You will doubt yourself, but hear me when I say, give yourself grace. Be kind to yourself. Your body has just done one of the hardest things it probably will ever do, which is birth a human being into this world. So you're not gonna have that spring in your step the next day or even the next week. Don't expect yourself to immediately be back to normal or snap back just like that. Be kind to yourself. Yes, postpartum is different for every woman, but it does not have to be a horrible experience. It is all of what you make it. It is mind over matter. So that is what I'm gonna say about that. Just give yourself grace. Be kind to yourself. Be patient with yourself. Be flexible, and know that you just had a beautiful baby girl or baby boy, twins, triplets, whatever your situation may be. You had a baby, and love that baby. Focus on that baby, and in time everything will be back to normal. You'll be back feeling yourself, but don't harp on it too much, because it can cause you to get down, be sad, and you don't want any of that right now. Okay, now on to the tearing, the part that I was most fearful of. I did not want to tear, because in my mind, tearing meant ripping from the rooty to the tootie, and it meant the end. It meant disaster to me. So let me tell you, tearing is not that bad. If you tear, you will need stitches. Now, it does depend on the type of tear that you have, the kind of stitches that you get. You can have 1st degree tear, 2nd degree, 3rd, or 4th. Now 4th is where you literally rip from your vagina to your butthole. I had 2nd degree, which is internal tearing. Now when she told me that, I was like, oh, I got tearing on the inside, what? But she stitched me up and everything was fine. Yo, I keep hitting my desk that is making my camera shake, and it's a little bit frustrating, so let me get myself together. But yeah, so when my doula told me actually I had 2nd degree, which she said it was minor, and yes, I had a doula. I'll get into that in just a second. But yeah, she said it was minor, but I still had to get stitches on the inside, like I was saying. I was a little bit nervous because I was like, okay, so now what does this healing process look like with stitches? So because my stitches were internal, they actually dissolved on their own. Now, if you have to get stitches on the outside, external, your stitch will have to fall off. Now, how long it takes to fall off, it just depends. I have a friend of mine who said that her stitch literally took the whole 6 weeks. It fell off at the 6-week period. Now, my stitches, I know they dissolved around like 10 to 14 days. I could tell because it started, when you have a wound that's healing, it starts to itch. I literally could feel like an itchy sensation, and it was so annoying because I was like, why does it have to do this? And it was not because I was dirty, because I took a shower almost 3 times because it was very relaxing. Postpartum, shower time is going to become me time. That is the ultimate pampering yourself experience in the shower. Now, back to the stitches. So yes, they dissolve if you have internal, and they fall off if you have to get external stitches. The hospital will give you these ice packs to help with the swelling and the soreness, and those ice packs are marvelous. Now, I did not use them a whole lot because, like I said in the beginning of this video, I did not like to have a whole bunch of bulkiness down there, and the ice packs are very bulky. They're the kind that you have to break and you shake up, and it has a sticky part on the back to where you can stick it onto your pad, and it's actually like a big pad with ice on the inside, so it does like absorb the blood and all that. But it was a lot going on. It was very helpful, but it was a lot going on down there in that situation. They also give you this numbing spray, or this it's kind of reminded me of like Icy Hot, and everybody is different. Some moms love it, some moms like me didn't really care for it that much. I didn't really care for the numbing spray. What I loved though was this handy dandy, I think this is called a Perry bottle. I call it the squirt bottle, or on the front it says cleansing bottle. I like that. That was my best friend. And you use it every time you go to pee. You can put mild soap in here with mild or unscented, with some warm water. Don't do cold water, and don't try to squirt no hot water down there. That ain't gonna be it. You gonna come off that toilet. So yeah, warm water with like unscented Dove baby soap or anything like that. You can mix it if you want to, but every time you go to the bathroom to potty, you want to just squirt and squirt and squirt, so that you're getting all of that excess blood that may not have been wiped. You're getting all that out, because you don't want any bacteria, because at that point your vagina is literally open, and it's kind of like a big open wound. So you want to make sure you clean it and taking care of it, so you do not get any kind of infection, because that is not what you want to have. Now, about the doula, I did have a doula because it was my mission, as I said, also to have a very positive, nurturing, loving, peaceful birthing experience, which I did have. And my doula was amazing. She came with everything on deck. She had essential oils. She massaged me as I was having contractions. When I was contracting during my labor, she had me doing different exercises where I would squat, which actually helped me more when I was moving around and doing the exercise she was telling me to do, as opposed to sitting down. And she just would remind me to breathe, because honestly, when the contractions hit, you kind of want to tense up to, I don't know, it's like you're like not trying to feel the pain. But she would tell me to breathe and to think about, do things, to think about things to take my mind off the pain. There we go. And it was very helpful. So I loved having a doula. I probably would have a doula every single time, and if I had my way, I would use her every single time. I just loved having a doula. It was so peaceful. It was amazing. Now, not everyone will have an abundant milk supply, and that's okay. Sometimes breastfeeding moms can ridicule you a little bit if you choose to even not breastfeed. Like, there were moms when I got discharged, they had all of the moms who had given birth in that week that I was there. They had all of us come in the same room. They discharged all of us. It was at least 8 moms, or 8 to 10 moms in there who were getting discharged. And there were actually some moms in there who weren't going to breastfeed. And that's okay, because that's their choice. That's their body. That's their baby. So not everybody has an abundant milk supply though, and that's okay. You may have to supplement with formula, and that's okay. As long as your baby is fed, healthy, and happy, you're doing your job just right, mama. Now, once you are home with baby, you guys have finally been discharged. You're back home, you're in your space, your comfort zone, and all of that. It is okay to neglect the dishes, the laundry, the sweeping, the mopping, all of that, because first of all, you're not going to have the energy to do any of that, because you're going to be tired. Like, giving birth is a tiring experience. It's very draining, because it's like you ran a marathon with a Mack truck tied to your back. You're going to be tired, and that's okay. So you're going to want to rest, and that's okay. You should rest, because you did some hard work. So don't try to be superwoman, coming home, doing the dishes, cooking meals, sweeping the floor, doing laundry, folding clothes, putting them up. Don't do that. It's okay to neglect that stuff, put it on the back burner, and get to it when you can. Because at this point, baby needs all your attention. Honestly, your baby is going to want to be on your chest every second of the day, because baby just wants mom at that point. I mean, now don't get me wrong, baby also wants dad, but in those first couple weeks, months, you and that baby are going to be glued together. But also, although you're doing all that stuff for baby, do not neglect yourself. Do not forget to take care of yourself. When you get the time, yes, you're supposed to nap when baby's napping to make sure you're getting all of the rest up and everything. But when your husband gets home, or your partner gets home, or whoever is helping you gets home, it's okay to say, hey, can you watch baby for a minute? Let me go get myself together. Take you a long hot shower, listen to some music, read a book, do your nails, do your makeup, do your hair, eat a hot meal. Make sure you do those things. Don't forget about yourself in the process, because it can be very easy. But keep this in mind. If you are not at your best, you cannot give your baby the best. And you want to be able to provide the best care that you can for your baby, because you want to be the best mother that you can. So that is all for my postpartum tips. I love being a mom. It is the greatest joy. Yes, it has ups and downs, but trust me when I say there are more ups than downs. Do not listen to the negative people. When you have people come around saying, "Ooh, child, that's going to be hard work. You ain't never going to get no sleep," you can just smile, shrug it off, and keep it moving, because parenting is all about what you make it. If you want to have a enjoyable parenting experience, then you will. But if you are already got your mindset on, oh my gosh, motherhood is going to be hard, having this newborn is going to be terrible, it's going to suck, then that is what it is. Because your tongue has the power of life and death. You have the power to speak good or speak bad. And I chose to do this video because I want you moms out there who are expecting, this is your first baby, your second baby, your third baby, maybe you had a bad experience before. I want to encourage you and let you know that you can have a beautiful postpartum experience. It does not have to be horrible, and it does not have to be a nightmare. It can be everything you've ever dreamed of. So that is going to be all for this video. I hope you enjoyed every second of this video. Go down in the comment section below. I want to know if you have any babies or any older children. I want to know how old they are. How was your birth experience? What was it like atmosphere wise? If there was anything you could change, what would you change? Do you want more children? Also, in addition to those comments, let me know down below what else you would like to see from me content wise. I am going to do a birthing video and my birth experience, so I may do that, may be one video or maybe two, I'm not sure yet. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And when you subscribe, don't forget to hit that bell so you can be notified every time I post a new video. So I appreciate you all. I love you all. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.